This is a Nintendo Switch 2. I paid $500 for this. I got it with Mario Kart World without, runs like 450. Put like 250 hours into this console throughout the year of 2025. This is a Nintendo 3DS XL, not the new. Bought this in 2015. It's still booting up. And I put also a lot of time into this. Got a bunch of games on it. And this today is probably about the same price as a Switch 2 for like a really good condition one or a new in-box one. If you want a pre-owned one in decent condition, it's not that much cheaper than a Switch 2. It's like $200 to $300, depending on the model, the make, the condition. This is not as relevant to the conversation, but I wanted to pick it up and hold it again. This is a Nintendo DS Lite, much cheaper than the Nintendo 3DS. For a normal person, redundant to have if you already have a 3DS because backwards compatible. For me, it was a thing where I was starting to play DS games on a 3DS, and I was like, the pixels, they're not good. Look, there's Kirby. Squeeze Squad, underrated game. There is a trend going on where despite a brand new console launching, and this extends to the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series as well, there is a hesitation to leap to the next console. Now, obviously, a huge component there is price. People are being priced out of video games. As somebody who grew up where all of my consoles that I got were funded by two other consoles that I traded in, like, I get it. Gaming is ridiculously expensive. But if you exist in online spaces, you may have noticed that people aren't buying a lot of the newer consoles. They are going back and returning to consoles or picking up consoles they've never had for the first time. Right now, nostalgia for the 3DS is massive. An entire ecosystem market community of people playing games online that are celebrating this old console and spending a lot of their game time and game funds on. Why? Why is this happening? What is it about the current state of gaming that is causing people to look back and pick up old hardware? Because it's not just the handhelds, right? The handhelds are the ones that are getting a lot of attention, at least in the circles I am in. There is an entire market of replica consoles now, and just recently we've seen the Anbernics break into dual screen tech, and specifically with the 3DS, the Ein Thor that's been getting a lot of attention. It is a game console that can run in much better resolution the entire 3DS library. In my TikTok algorithm, I'm seeing people talk about consoles of the 3DS. The 3DS is the best thing ever made, which I'm not going to fight there. I really love the 3DS. It is just this wide gap between the current state of Nintendo and the 3DS that I find interesting. Because when the Switch 2 launched, there was even people out here saying that oh, the Wii U had more going for it than the Switch 2, which is insane. I was a Nintendo diehard, and when I saw the Wii U, I was like, oh, jumping ship, oh boy. That was a historic fumble. But that idea that the Switch 2 is underwhelming, that it was half-baked or not worth the price, I'm not here to get into that really. I love my Switch 2. I think it's a fantastic handheld, but it's undeniable that in a lot of spaces, a lot of Gen Z, probably Gen Alpha also, circles in online gaming spaces, the state of Nintendo, the Switch 2, is just not speaking to them. And their nostalgia for this thing is going crazy, and they are revisiting it. Again, many people are picking up it for the first time. Last year, I played A Link Between Worlds and Kid Icarus Uprising. And that combination, those two games, and that's just ignoring so many other things like all the Fire Emblem games, Pokemon games, those two games in the span of 1 year really reminded me how much I love the 3DS, because oh boy, oh golly, both those games are incredible. Now, I think it's incredibly important and special and well worth your time to play older games. I think if you are looking at games that are released right now, like the calendar date of the day you're watching this, versus everything else that exists, odds are you will probably have a better time picking up something that has already been made, something that could speak to you, could be your next favorite game in your backlog, than whatever came out today. And that's not to clown on modern day releases. There are great small games releasing every day that can speak to you deeply, and I'm not trying to act like there isn't. But this idea of the past, this idea of the big publishers, the big companies, their back catalogs are most of the time still worth exploring. I think PlayStation has some fantastic PS3 games. The PS2 is also entering this new age of like a renaissance online, and people are looking back to the PS2 as this amazing console, which it is. It's one of the best ever made, probably top 3. There's also this want now for people to disconnect, right? And I will credit the Switch 2 with this, and the Switch platform overall. I greatly respect the user interface these consoles have. I know it gets a lot of crap from people. People are like, oh, why don't I have Netflix on it? But the fact that the Switch is so deliberately about video games is something I appreciate so much, because PlayStation was celebrated for this during the PlayStation 4, right? Like their whole UI was like, it is about the games. Big, chunky game key art. Every time you boot it up, first thing you see, you click in, you're there. Whereas the Xbox at the time was like TV, ads everywhere on the dashboard, and is still kind of that way. And then the PS5 kind of embraced that. The PS5 was like, we'll do the little square still, but it's like gonna be tiny up in the corner, and you're gonna have big full-page ads for DLCs, Fortnite, other games, our media. Like, it became less about the games, where it was more about being advertised to. The interfaces of these modern consoles of PlayStation and Xbox are trying to sell you things constantly. We see a lot of major games release, and as soon as you boot it up to the main menu, they're in the corner or on the side, just a page of ads. I booted up Avatar Frontiers of Pandora last night, Siva Co. I just wanted to be in that world again, and as soon as I did, a full page splash screen. Do you want to go to the store and buy the Fire and Ash DLC? Or do you want to go back into your save file? I click into that. Okay, you're back on your save file menu. All the options here. Then over here, hey, remember, you can buy that DLC. I don't have an issue with microtransactions personally. I can tap out. And that is kind of universal at this point. It's a necessary evil, it feels like at this point. That is just part of how gaming works today. Now, wanting to go back and disconnect is not something that's new. Obviously, like we've seen vinyl become a big thing. But in terms of technology, there is this want to have a system that's main thing is it's great at this one activity. Like with the iPods, the PlayStation Portables, digital camera, and now for gaming, we have the handhelds and these consoles that don't have any other use really other than putting a disc in and playing it. That need, that want to disconnect, the de-influencing yourself, the wanting to have more intentional time with your activities, your hobbies, and with this exhaustion, this fatigue with the way that we're always being sold something, that we're always being influenced. I think that is a big reason behind the rise in popularity of retro gaming, which is cool. It historically, I feel, has been not gatekept, but it's definitely hard to get into, and specifically with Nintendo stuff in the past, it's hard to afford. Now, thanks to stuff like emulation, Nintendo's emulation, NSO, things are being a bit more, stable price-wise, but there are options. There are options out there. If you want to play the Pokemon 3DS games, you don't need to have a 3DS. Like the Einthor that exists, it's $250, I think, for the entry model, which is not cheap, but it gives you a, from what I can gather, great way to experience the library of a fantastic console, one of Nintendo's best. Now, a reality here with the retro scene and wanting to de-influence yourself is, unfortunately, this is also a trend. It is also trendy. You are being influenced into de-influencing your life. Like that's still part of what's going on here. So a very real thing that is probably going to happen to a lot of people happens to me. It's like, oh, that's a great idea. I should buy a GameCube again and build a GameCube library. I should get one of these AmberNet consoles and like just play through a bunch of GBA games that I've never played, or play a bunch of Pokemon fan games, or pick up a 3DS and play through, again, an incredible library of Nintendo first-party games. And then you pick it up, play for like 20 minutes, throw it in a drawer, forget that it happened, go back to playing your PS5 or Arc Raiders, I don't know. But the fact at all that there is a trend, there's an interest, there's a curiosity for people who either were not around for these devices or are interested in them and want to experience something that is complete, right? It's complete, it's done. There's no new things coming out on the Nintendo DS Lite. There's no new things that the DS Lite is going to try and sell to you. It is a library that you could feasibly, probably in a lifetime, see everything you wanted to see and play everything you want to play on this device. I feel very strongly about wanting to be intentional with the games that you play. I feel like playing things just to have an opinion on them is kind of soulless. Allow yourself to have an experience with a work of art and find your own voice with it, find your own criticisms, rather than nodding along or shaking your head at the noise of something. And like with the Switch 2, again, I love this thing. I cannot stop playing it, but there's noise right now. There's still noise. We're still in year one. It is still Donkey Kong Bonanza didn't have an impact. Mario Kart World's a bad game. Kirby Air Riders is what Mario Kart World wishes it was. I'm dead silent about Kirby Air Riders now. There's that on one side, and then there's the "you're a shill, why'd you buy this, this is stupid, this game's bad" conversation that is also running parallel. And that is not happening right now on the 3DS. It's quiet over there. The water is nice, it's warm, it's been warm, and you know what you're getting. I think it is the finances of the state of gaming today. People are tired of it, they've been tired of it. And the algorithm, you need this, you need to have this and play this, because this is the new thing that we're pushing. At a certain point, only the hardest of hardcore will be the ones that are able to keep up with what is new. Like the enthusiast crowd behind the PS5 were the ones that were keeping that console and conversation alive for the first few years. With the Switch 2, that's probably similar. I'm buying every major Switch 2 release, I'm experiencing them, and I'm moving on to the next one. While the Switch 2 has seen incredible success, it's broken records, fastest on console of all time in the US. It's already at 10 million last time we heard. They still have their work cut out for them. Funny enough, the 3DS had a bit of a rocky launch as well, where that was carried by the hardcore for the first year, roughly, until it saw a price drop and it got some more games releasing for it. Then that's when the conversation shifted. The 3DS was a laughingstock when it launched. It is an incredible console with some fantastic games, some of Nintendo's best. A Link Between Worlds, Kid Icarus Uprising, fantastic video games that will justify you picking up an expensive, overpriced 3DS in 2026. And if you never play anything else, I think those are great experiences to represent this console. Do not let anybody try and convince you that it's a waste. I think the curiosity for the past and the curiosity for older games is something that is vital for this hobby to continue and thrive. It's unfortunate the circumstances that have gotten us to this trend of people being priced out and looking to older games. And it's also unfortunate that the people who are running the prices of the secondhand market see that and are taking advantage of that. But again, there are other ways to experience the past, the 3DS library, the PS2 library, even at this point, the PS3 and 360 library. So it's exciting. I'm curious, how have you been spending your game time lately? Like, are you playing more retro stuff than modern stuff? 2025, I mostly played a lot of older games, and that was an experience I'll talk about another day. But yeah, let me know what you've discovered, what games are lighting the fire in your soul again that are more than 3 to 5 years old, what platform you're playing. And if you've also been thinking about revisiting some older platforms and exploring the library of consoles that you either didn't grow up with, didn't fully comprehend at the time because maybe you're an adult now and you can buy your own games and really explore the library of your childhood consoles in a way that you couldn't when you were 5 and had a GameCube and didn't know what Resident Evil 4 was.